Jordan was 17, a typical teenager with dreams and secrets. But life took a rather unexpected turn when his father remarried a woman named Ashley, who was not much older than him. Ashley was beautiful, with flowing chestnut hair and a laugh that could light up the darkest days. At first, the idea of having a stepmom was exciting, but soon, things became complicated. Ashley was not just a stepmother, she was also a mentor to Jordan. She encouraged him to pursue his passions, art and music. They spent countless afternoons together, with Jordan painting in the garden while Ashley offered her insights and stories. But as the days turned into months, Jordan began to notice something deeper in their bond, an undeniable chemistry that left him both exhilarated and terrified. One summer evening, while the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden hue over the garden, Ashley suggested they have a little fun. "Let's throw a party," she said, her eyes sparkling with mischief. "You invite your friends, and I'll handle the refreshments." Jordan hesitated, knowing that such gatherings often led to trouble, but Ashley's enthusiasm was infectious. The party was a whirlwind of laughter and music, and amidst the chaos, Jordan found himself stealing glances at Ashley. The way she moved, the way she laughed, it was intoxicating. As the night wore on, Jordan's friends dared him to approach Ashley, teasing him about having a crush on her. In a moment of reckless abandon, he decided to give in to the thrill of the moment. "Ashley," he said, his voice barely above a whisper, "can I talk to you for a second?" He led her away from the noise, to a quiet corner of the garden. The moonlight illuminated her face, and in that moment, everything felt perfect yet utterly forbidden. "I don't know how to say this, but I feel like there's something between us," he confessed. Ashley's eyes widened in shock, but then a soft smile played on her lips. "Jordan, you're a wonderful young man, but we can't," she began, but he interrupted her. "Why not? You make me feel alive," he exclaimed, his heart racing. "You're not just my stepmom, you're my friend. I want to explore this, whatever it is." She looked away, torn between her feelings and the boundaries society had set. "It's not that simple, Jordan. I care about you, but we have to think about the consequences." But Jordan was determined. He had never felt this way about anyone before, and the thrill of the forbidden was too strong to resist. Over the next few weeks, they found themselves stealing moments together, shared glances, lingering touches, and hushed conversations that ignited a spark between them. As summer drew to a close, the tension reached a boiling point. One fateful night, with the stars twinkling brightly above them, Jordan took Ashley's hand, his heart pounding. "I can't keep pretending that this isn't real," he said, his voice trembling. "I want to be with you." Ashley looked deep into his eyes, her resolve crumbling. "I want that too, but what will people think?" "What about your father?" she whispered. "I don't care, I just want to be with you." The passion in his voice surprised even him, but it was true. Nothing else mattered but the connection they shared. In that moment, the boundaries blurred, and they embraced, sealing their feelings with a kiss that was both sweet and charged with the electricity of their forbidden romance. But as they pulled away, reality crashed in. They both knew the risks, the potential fallout, but the bond they had formed was undeniable. Days turned into weeks, and their secret romance blossomed in the shadows, filled with stolen kisses and whispered promises. Yet, the weight of their choices hung heavy in the air. They knew they were dancing on the edge of a precipice, and one misstep could lead to heartbreak not just for them, but for Jordan's father as well. Eventually, the day came when Jordan could no longer hide his feelings. He knew he had to confront the situation head-on. "Ashley, we need to talk to my dad," he said one evening, his voice steady but his heart racing. Ashley's face paled. "Are you sure? What if he can't accept this?" she asked, fear creeping into her voice. "I don't want to hide anymore. I love you, and I want to be with you. We owe it to ourselves to be honest," he replied, determination in his eyes. The air was thick with tension as Jordan and Ashley prepared for the conversation that could change everything. They both knew how much was at stake, but the pull of their emotions was too strong to ignore. As they sat at the kitchen table, the sunlight streaming through the window, Ashley fidgeted with her cup of tea, her mind racing with possibilities. "Are you ready for this?" Jordan asked, his voice low, but steady. Ashley took a deep breath, her heart pounding in her chest. "As ready as I'll ever be," she replied, forcing a smile, though her eyes betrayed her fear. Just then, the sound of the front door creaking open broke the silence, and Jordan's father, Mark, walked in. He was a kind-hearted man, oblivious to the storm brewing just beneath the surface. "Hey, you two, what's going on?" Mark asked, his face lighting up as he noticed the unusual seriousness in the room. "Dad, can we talk?" Jordan said, his voice shaking slightly. Mark raised an eyebrow, sensing the gravity of the moment. "Sure, what's on your mind?" He took a seat across from them, his expression shifting to one of concern. Jordan glanced at Ashley for reassurance, and she nodded, her eyes filled with determination. "It's about Ashley and me," he began, his voice steadying as he spoke. "I know this is hard to hear, but we've developed feelings for each other." Mark's expression turned from curiosity to confusion, and then to disbelief. "What do you mean, feelings?" he asked, trying to understand. "Ashley is your stepmother, Jordan. I know that, Dad, but it's true. We can't help how we feel about each other," Jordan replied, his voice firm. "I love her." Ashley's heart raced as she listened to Jordan bravely express their truth. She could feel the weight of Mark's gaze upon her, and she braced herself for his reaction. Mark looked between them, his brow furrowed. "This is unexpected," he finally said, his tone a mix of surprise and concern. "I can't say I'm not shocked, but love is complicated. You both need to understand the consequences of this." "Dad, we know it's complicated, but we want to be honest with you," Ashley added, her voice trembling slightly. "We didn't intend for this to happen, but it did. I care about Jordan deeply." Mark rubbed his temples, processing the whirlwind of emotions swirling around the table. "I want you both to be happy, but you have to consider how this will affect our family. What about the gossip? What about the people in town?" Jordan felt a surge of frustration. "I know people will talk, but this is about us, not them. I don't want to hide who I love anymore." Mark sighed heavily, the weight of his son's words resting heavily on his chest. "You're both young, and I worry that you may not fully understand what this means. You need to think about your futures." Ashley looked at Mark, her heart aching for the man who had welcomed her into his family. "I understand your concerns, Mark, truly. But Jordan and I have something special. It's real, and I promise to be honest and open about it." After a long moment of silence, Mark finally spoke. "I can't pretend to understand everything about this, but I want to support you both. Just know that it won't be easy, and you'll need to navigate this carefully." Relief washed over Jordan as he heard his father's words, but Ashley still felt a knot of anxiety in her stomach. "Thank you for being open with us. We'll figure this out together," she said, her voice steady. As the conversation continued, they discussed boundaries, expectations, and the challenges they would face. Mark made it clear that while he would support their relationship, he wanted them to approach it thoughtfully. They agreed to keep the relationship private for now, allowing them time to understand their feelings without the added pressure of public scrutiny. In the days that followed, Jordan and Ashley navigated their new reality with a mix of joy and apprehension. When they were together, it felt like the world melted away, and nothing else mattered. They would go for long walks in the park, sharing dreams and secrets under the moonlight, but they were always aware of the delicate balance they were maintaining. However, as the weeks passed, the whispers in town began to grow louder. Friends and neighbors started to notice the peculiar dynamic between Ashley and Jordan, and rumors began to spread like wildfire. It wasn't long before they found themselves at the center of gossip, with people speculating about their relationship. The whispers in town grew louder each day, draping a shadow over Jordan and Ashley's once blissful connection. What had begun as a tender romance blossoming in secrecy now felt like a precarious balancing act, and the pressure was starting to weigh heavily on both of them. One afternoon, Jordan was at school, trying to focus on his classes, but the chatter around him was impossible to ignore. As he walked through the hallways, he overheard snippets of conversations, students pointing fingers, exchanging knowing glances, and giggling. The rumors had spread like wildfire, and the topic of choice was the forbidden relationship between him and Ashley. "Did you hear that Ashley is dating Jordan? How weird is that?" One girl whispered to her friend, her voice laced with disbelief. "Yeah, I mean, isn't she like, super close to his dad?" Another chimed in, her tone dripping with judgment. Jordan felt a rush of humiliation wash over him. He tried to brush it off, but it gnawed at him. He had always been a bit of an outsider, and now he felt even more alienated, as if the walls of the school were closing in around him. Later that day, Jordan met Ashley at their usual spot in the park, an idyllic oasis away from prying eyes. However, as he approached her, he could see the worry etched on her face. "Jordan, we need to talk," she said, her voice trembling slightly. "What's wrong?" he asked, concerned. "I heard the rumors today. Kids were talking about us, and I can't help but feel that it's getting out of control. What if your dad hears? What if it gets back to him?" Ashley's eyes were wide with fear, and Jordan felt a pang of guilt. "I know, but we can't let them dictate our feelings," he replied, his voice firm. "We have to be strong. I love you, Ashley. Nothing can change that." She looked into his eyes, searching for reassurance. "I love you too, but this isn't just about us anymore. We have to think about how this impacts everyone around us, especially your dad." Jordan sighed, rubbing the back of his neck in frustration. "You're right, but I refuse to let rumors ruin what we have. We'll face this together, I promise." As the days turned into weeks, the rumors continued to swirl. The tension between Jorfin and Ashki grew, manifesting in quiet moments when their eyes would meet, conveying a mix of love and apprehension. They would often sit in silence, contemplating their complicated reality while the world around them moved on, oblivious to the storm brewing in their hearts. One evening, Ashley decided to confront the situation head-on. "Let's have a talk with your dad," she suggested, her tone resolute. "We need to be honest about everything. No more hiding." Jordan's heart raced at the thought, but he could see the determination in her eyes. "Okay, let's do it," he agreed, feeling a mix of anxiety and relief wash over him. The following evening, they gathered in the living room, the air thick with anticipation. Mark entered, looking up from his phone, sensing the seriousness of the moment. "Hey, what's going on?" he asked, his brow furrowing slightly. "Dad, we need to talk about the rumors," Jordan began, his voice steady. "About me and Ashley." Mark's expression shifted, and he nodded, gesturing for them to continue. Ashley took a deep breath, her heart pounding. "We know that people have been talking, and it's only going to escalate. We want to be upfront with you about our relationship," she said, her voice steady despite the tremor in her hands. Mark listened carefully, his eyes shifting between them. "I appreciate your honesty, but you've already told me how complicated this is. Are you both sure this is what you want?" "We love each other, Dad," Jordan insisted, his voice rising slightly. "We don't want to hide anymore. We want to be together, no matter what people say." Mark rubbed his temples again, clearly torn. "I can't pretend it's easy for me either, but I want you both to be happy. Just know that this will come with challenges. People will judge, and I can't protect you from that." Ashley nodded, her heart aching at the thought of the judgment they would face together. "We understand, and we're willing to face whatever comes our way. We just need your support." Mark sighed, weighing his options. "If you're both committed to this, then I'll do my best to support you. Just remember to communicate openly, especially if things get tough." Join us for part 2 of this 3-part gripping and intriguing story. Be sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you don't miss a beat. Until then, see you in the next video.